They might not be, they might be just waiting for the 6:31. That's the regular. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to, just so everyone knows.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll leave the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm wondering if everyone wants to come off and went to the fire district, watch the they're doing over there.
I love how it's terrifying in terms of watching.
All right, for the first order of business will be to elect a URA Budget Committee Chair. So just for FYI, so the first part of this meeting is 30 minutes. It's just basically setting up the budget for the Urban Renewal District. And I have no clue what the A stands for in URA. Agency? Oh, yes, there you go. So with that, do we have any nominations for a committee chair?
I'll make the nomination of Joseph Stanger to the committee chair.
Awesome.
that motion.
Yeah, did we second? Awesome. All those in favor of Joseph being the committee chair for the URA, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Shall be noted that he voted against himself.
Hard to hear.
This should be the easiest one to possibly chair. So with that, we'll go ahead and receive the URA budget message, and with that, I'll hand that over to, please.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is our inaugural meeting of the Urban Renewal Agency. The Urban Renewal Agency is responsible for the Urban Renewal District. And most of us know the URD, URD, but essentially what we've done is we've taken properties, and it's on that map here. We've taken properties and the value of those properties over time that it will be taken out of the general fund that we receive in property taxes each year. And it's just not the property taxes for the city, it's also property taxes for the school and other districts as well. They'll be reduced. Those property taxes come to the city and go into the budget. So it's a separate, completely separate organization, separate from the city, although it works with the city. The purpose is to do urban renewal activities, streets, infrastructure, the types, the kinds of things that are economic development type activities. These are things that the city will use going forward to help make sure that we have areas of the city that are, in fact, useful for economic activity, bring businesses in, brand the city, do the kinds of things necessary that that citizens will want to see. And a lot of things we've talked about are streets. We have a lot of things that are just terribly expensive. It costs a little over, right now it's up to $85 a foot for a street. Okay, so you have a 300-foot city block, a lot of money. And it's not money that we have in our budget, and most small cities don't have. So that's why a lot of times your streets are the first ones everyone says, what's wrong with your streets? Well, you really can't do much to them unless you have this amount of money. We only get a very small amount of grants available each year to do streets, and even that is not enough. So this is an opportunity for the city to build up funds and leverage them with what we already have existing to make those kind of projects work. So the URD was established with an ordinance. The URA is the governing body of it. The city council is the acting renewal agency board for this. It's like a board of directors. And we have a president, we have a secretary, just like any nonprofit organization would have. Because this is the first fiscal year, our activities are very limited. It's just really limited to some meetings. We're not going to be spending any administrative overhead on anything. It's really at this point about building money for the city. As a result, it is very fiscally conservative. We're not out there to do anything with this money quite yet. It will be about at least 3 years and basically a 3 to 5 year time frame before we can really start pulling the money out of it and start using it or leveraging, I should say, is really what we're doing to make things work. Consistent with our long-term planning discussions, the agency intends to utilize the inter-fund borrowing, and that's what I was referring to. The street fund has a fair amount of money in it, and we can utilize that. The street fund by itself, if we were to use it right now, would only work for maybe 2.5 city blocks. And so we need to build that so we can do more with that. We have a lot of blocks, as you're all aware, in Hubbard that need some work. Some streets are not even functional anymore. We look at F Street between 3rd and 4th. It's be better off and work gravel than what it is right now. So there's a lot of things that we need to work on. If we do have any interfund loans, they'll be authorized in accordance with Oregon statute. It does require, it's a process. Board just can't simply take it. There has to be a meeting, there has to be council, approval that we're moving money from one area to another. So there's a lot of oversight involved in anything that we do. And but it does allow us to advance our priority infrastructure improvements in advance of sufficient tax incremental revenue that we might receive. That's why we don't have to wait 20 years. We can start in 3 to 5 years and start working on this. So in summary, with this budget tonight, we're going to receipt our first tax increment. We have no active project expenditures in the first two fiscal years. Long-term financial planning will be centered on the strategic use of interfund loans, i.e. the street construction fund, and a commitment to fiscal prudence and the phased implementation of urban renewal activities. So that's the basic premise behind the URD and the board, the URA, is to manage this fiscally in a fiscally conservative manner over the next few years so we can build that fund to where we can start using it.
Okay. So I guess next we have budget review and discussion.
You'll see the budget summary and details. A few more pages right behind the budget message. This is a very simple budget. We're going to put $3,265 into our budget, and our total requirements, we have no requirements, so our ending balance is $3,265. So it's probably the simplest budget you're going to see tonight.
I have a question.
Yes,
So this money is just for administration,
it's like we're putting it into like a piggy bank.
and it comes out of
Property taxes.
the property taxes. So is this an Oregon mandate?
It's not a mandate. In terms of, do we have to do this?
Well, it says ordinance, so I'm just assuming
Oh.
it's something that Oregon requires every town do.
No, it doesn't require every town. It is voluntary. An urban renewal district is a decision by council to form.
So we're not doing a good job now.
This is a way for us to financially leverage money. It's not that we're not doing a good job. It allows us to bring in money that we would not otherwise be able to bring in, and also use it to leverage money we already have.
So this would increase property taxes?
No, what it does do, it does decrease something, but it's our general fund, the city's general fund.
Oh, that general fund that I keep
Yes.
talking about. I used
Yes.
to drive my mom crazy on that one.
The general fund. So our general fund is funded primarily through property taxes. And so that will go down.
So it won't be on our water bill?
It will not be on your water bill. That's an enterprise fund, and that's separate rates. What that does affect is our parks, court, and police, and some of the city administrators' funds, salaries.
Right, that'll also be very clear. So if you look at the map on the next page, you'll see the shaded area. That is the urban renewal district, and that is the only area that the tax revenue will be gathered from. The rest of the city won't be contributing to it.
And this,
Well, now what's gonna happen on this is we've got a tax base now, right? It's gonna go up. For those areas that are shaded, they're gonna go flat now. And the increase between, the delta between that baseline and where it's gonna go in the future is gonna be the money that starts to go into the URD. Now, once we build up 3 to 5 years in the future, enough in that fund, the city can then, as Steve was saying, leverage it or basically borrow against it. So now we're borrowing money at a present value from a future value, if that makes sense. So we're gonna have a future projection of what we believe this growth is gonna be. And now we can actually go out and pull out a loan against that future revenue at present value dollars.
It's great finance.
Yeah, it's really confusing when you think about it. It's basic,
yeah,
if you look at it, let's say I've got $10 today, and in 20 years, that $10 is probably gonna be worth $5. I don't know, it's gonna go down.
mhm,
So I can buy more with that money today than I can in 10 years.
Right.
So in 5 years, we're gonna be able to pull, or the city is gonna be able to pull a loan against this projected revenue and be able to use the money at a present value instead of just waiting for it to accumulate to then try to use it in the future.
And as an example, I'll give you something, on The Price is Right. They had said the largest payout ever, recent 54 years of its existence, almost $250,000. So I went back 54 years to 1972. So what is the value of money today, $250,000, that was actually, what could you do in 1972? $28,000. So in that period of time, $28,000 mammothly grew to 225, yet they're equivalent.
Mhm.
What we're trying to do is borrow, as the mayor said, at today's rates.
Yeah,
What is value
and
today?
one thing that I think that the future value, present value might be confusing you. Don't get too much hung up on that. Let's say you're gonna borrow money for buying a car, or in this case, buying repairs on a street. And we go ahead and we take a loan out against that, and then that tax increase, we pay that loan back from. Okay, that, what he's talking about, the increase above that standard baseline, which it's gonna vary from property to property, what that actual value is. The increase is what we're gonna pay that loan off with, but we're gonna wait 3 to 5 years to build up a little bit of money in it
mhm.
before we start borrowing.
Um,
And that allows us to, they might want us to have 10% into it or 20% into it of our own money. That allows us to give that 10%, and then we can borrow the rest of it from other funds. So, and then that, as the time goes on, we can pay that money back as that.
And this is for
Tax that.
improvements,
This, what they call infrastructure. We got some poor streets. We could do some more with, maybe with our drainage system. So that way, if we're looking at a piece of industrial property, which a couple of these are, we might need bigger drainage pipe. We might need better access, might need a wider, thicker, heavier duty road to bring the trucks in on, things like that. So the ones on the south end of town are light industrial. We've got some downtown businesses that we bring into that as well. So that way, when, if we need sidewalks, and a lot of that's that street right in there that needs to be repaired as well.
Right.
Um,
A great way to look at it is Third Street. That's one of the primary areas we would definitely want to work on, 99 as well.
Mhm.
But Third Street, to incentivize development in there, we can replace the sidewalks, we can put the proper curbs in there.
and that's where that money's coming from.
That's where the money would eventually go.
Go for that.
Yeah, it's for those.
And then
type
it
of
won't hurt
investments.
so bad later.
Yeah, right. Well, it allows us to also, get those improvements done instead of just waiting and waiting and waiting.
Right.
Give you an example, we're saving up for redoing the city hall for many, many years. And we just kept putting money into the bank. Problem is, every year we waited to actually do the work, that money just kept decreasing. So it was like, you were never gonna catch up.
Yeah.
So we just bit the bullet, like, no, let's renovate the city hall and get it looking nice. And it's done. But if we would have waited, every year you get less and less. The playground at Rivness is a great example. We waited a year or 2 years to get it done. If we would have done it 2 years ago, we could have done so much more with the money we had.
Hmm. Okay.
But it's still a nice park.
Does this sunset, is this a 10-year urban renewal agreement?
I believe it does, but it's, I believe, what is it, 20?
I think it's 20.
20 years.
Yeah.
It's 20 years.
And then another question I had, is there any, I don't know, backdoor promises? Like, if the fire department was promised that in 8 years, they may get a cut of some of this urban renewal, maybe a remodel or a little upgrade. I know in Woodburn, when they did a urban renewal, it took a lot of funds away from the fire department. Somebody somewhere told them, we'll pay you back later. And then when they went to do a
Oh, I see.
remodel, they got an extra 200,000 from urban renewal funds because it was kind of
An agreement.
an agreement.
Well, that would be the ordinance. The ordinance did not have any.
Yeah, there's
like that.
No,
No, and plus, if we were to get the 200,000 out of what's basically about a 1.5 million projected thing, yeah.
Obviously, that was
Yeah.
small. Yeah, but, so everybody else was like, yeah, no strings attached. Well,
At this
so
point,
you take a little bit from schools, a little bit from fire districts, from Chemeketa, from all.
All those folks, yes.
they all see the benefit at the end of the day. But also helps to reduce the fire line. So I mean, this is pretty straightforward. I don't need to. Good, so that's your budget measure, message, so, or not message with the budget, so I'll hand it back over to you. That's cool.
We got the budget message, review and discussion. Is there any other discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and open the public hearing. So we'll open the public hearing at 6:15 for the Urban Renewal Association budget. So is there another presentation by the budget officer, or am I just gonna think?
I skipped.
We're already in this, okay.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I actually, I did skip ahead, but it is on the budget summary details is your budget, and we have 3265. That will be that incremental tax that will be placed into the budget. We have no other requirements this year, and we won't next year either. So at the moment, we're just simply approving a budget for $3,265.
Okay. So is there any public comments or questions? I see no public online.
There's no one
I see no public present, so we'll close the public comment or question section. So now we will continue the public hearing on the Urban Renewal Agency budget and ask for a motion to approve the Urban Renewal Agency budget for FY 26-27.
I'll make a motion that we approve the URA budget for fiscal year 26-27.
Second,
I have a first, motion and a second. Is there, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Sounds like it was unanimous. It's been a long day. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn the Urban Renewal Association budget meeting for fiscal year 2026-27?
make a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Well, that's the easy one.
First meeting.
Okay, now I have to move everything, so hang on.
It all